Midseason 2016 South African Rally Championship Review, brought to you by Dunlop, Ford, Toyota and Volkswagen. It's 3 rallies into the season, and while the teams have a break for winter testing and development, it's time for us to look back on the frenetic action which has characterized the first half of the season. The battle lines have been drawn, the early favourites have established leads, but the chasing packs are closing in. And the final 4 rallies of the season are sure to be even more tightly contested than the first 3, as the fight for the championship titles hots up. Holding on to the S2000 class lead after victories at the Goldfields, Sasol and Secunda rallies are Leroy Poulter and Elvin Coetzee in the Toyota Gazoo Racing Yaris. While in the S1600 class, Guy Botterill and Simon Vasey-Lyle have piloted their Yatu Tools Toyota Etios to 3 consecutive victories too. Though both cars have emerged victorious in all 3 rallies thus far, the rallies themselves haven't been nearly as one-sided as the results suggest. But before we delve into detail, let's take a look at rallying in South Africa. The South African Rally Championships are contested in 2 classes, the custom-built 2-litre 4-wheel drive S2000 cars and the 1.6-litre front-wheel drive S1600 cars, which are based on standard production models with modifications for rallying, such as safety devices like roll cages, a sequential manual gearbox, upgraded suspension and rally tyres, amongst others. The season kicked off with the inaugural Goldfields rally in the Free State town of Welkom. The rally was won by Leroy Poulter and Elvin Coetzee as they took victory over their teammates Daniel de Villiers and Carolyn Swan. The story of the rally, though, was 2015 champion Mark Cronje. Switching from Ford to a Volkswagen Polo in the off-season, Cronje was immediately fast, claiming stage victories on the first 3 stages. However, when the rally moved from the tarmac stages of Friday evening to the long gravel stages of Saturday, mechanical problems started to affect performance, and Cronje was overtaken on the leaderboard by both Poulter and de Villiers.
It suited us, the type of terrain now, it suited the car. I saw Janelle also went really well, so we're first and second now. But you know, a long way to go still. We've still got another 4 stages, and let's see if we can keep it there.
Off the back of a watershed 5th place finish in the Dakar Rally, Leroy Poulter was full of confidence going into the 2016 South African Rally Championships. His drive to Goldfields victory was by no means a simple one. However, after overhauling Cronje on the leaderboard on stage 4, the fight for the lead proved to be between the 2 Toyotas.
A better start to this season than last one, you know, also for the team, you know, with Janelle being second. Hopefully we can keep it there.
From Welkom, the series moved to the iconic Sasol rally in beautiful Sabi. The Mpumalanga town is a favourite stop on the calendar, and it proved popular with Poulter and Coetzee too, as they claimed victories over de Villiers and Swan.
Rally Championship.
The urban stages of the Sasol rally are always popular. The 2 head-to-head super special stages held in the CBD of Nelspruit were particularly thrilling, with Poulter and de Villiers putting on a spectacular show, each claiming a victory in their 2 one-on-one battles. But the crowd favourite was the Friday night stage, which saw the cars screeching around Sabi as the fans lined up 4 people deep to get close to the action. Poulter put on a remarkable display of car control under the Sabi streetlights to claim stage victory. In total, the car number 23 claimed 12 stage victories in Sabi.
That's good for us. Obviously, the biggest thing is to win the Cecil. It's my third time now, and to win it on the 25th anniversary is a big one for us and for Toyota.
In the absence of Mark Cronje, and with Ernie van der Walt in his Vector Petroleum Toyota Yaris crashing out on stage 1, Wilro Dippenaar and Kes Naidu in the PZN panel beaters Ford Fiesta looked set for a podium finish. But a flat tyre scuppered his chances and allowed Guy Botterill in his S1600 to claim a historic overall podium place.
Well, we are really happy with third place overall. Everyone's been telling us that's history in the making there, so we're really happy that we did push hard in those last couple of stages to cement the third place. And then obviously the class win is fantastic for us too. Going forward into the championship, we've got 2 wins in a row.
The last rally before the mid-season break was the Secunda Rally. Again, the Toyota drivers dominated the top 2 steps of the podium, but the rallying was spectacularly close throughout. After 14 stages, just 2.1 seconds separated Poulter in first from De Villiers in second. The scene was set for the rally on stage 1 when De Villiers, Poulter and Ernie van der Walt were tied for second as they all clocked 3 minutes and 10.8 seconds for the 3.5 kilometer opening stage. The third spot on the podium was eventually claimed by van der Walt, sharing his Toyota Yaris with navigator Gerard Snyman for the first time. Wilro Dippenaar had been in a ding-dong battle for third with van der Walt, but for the second rally in a row, bad luck struck, this time with alternator failure forcing Dippenaar's withdrawal. The battle for rally victory between the Toyota stablemates was an epic one. De Villiers led Poulter after 4 stages, and while Poulter claimed the lead on stage 5, he lost it immediately on stage 6. Over the remaining 7 stages, Poulter was near flawless as he drove to regain the lead and then hold off the hard-charging De Villiers in order to win one of the closest ever rallies in the South African Rally Championships.
Obviously you want to win, but I think finishing 2 seconds behind is not so bad after 160 k's. So we pushed quite hard. We won a couple of stages. 2 seconds is really nothing in a rally like this. So we'll have to try a little bit harder next time.
Leroy Poulter leads the S2000 class after 3 rallies with 48 points, followed by Janelle De Villiers and Ernie van der Walt. While the heroes of the South African National Rally Championships are undoubtedly the professional drivers and navigators, they often don't receive the biggest cheers from the local crowds. The fan favourites are often local drivers. The field at each rally is bolstered by a number of these regional rally enthusiasts who come out to pit their skills against the biggest names in the sport. Driving an assortment of vehicles from iconic rally cars like the Subaru Imprezas to South African classics like Toyota Tazas, the regional rally entrants are a colourful group. But as drivers and navigators taking part simply for the love of rallying, they are very much the soul of each event. Rallying as privateers, they don't have the support crews of the national teams, but fewer sponsors' logos on the cars also allows them a measure of freedom. They can withdraw to spare their cars costly damage, or push harder than ever in search of a spectacular result. This makes for exciting rallying, as fans can never quite know what to expect. Some of the stars in this competitive category include Brian and Keith Hine in a classic Datsun SSS Coupe. Tussling with the Hines in the NRC 2 class are Roelof Kurte and his navigator Rikus Fourie, and the Toyota of Jaco and George Baker. The NRC2 class is a highly competitive one, but also a very diverse one. With no engine size restrictions, the only factors determining which cars are eligible to take part as NRC2s are that they feature two-wheel drive, and they are ineligible to take part in the S1600 class. One might not think, for example, that a Taz could match a new generation Run X for pace, but driver skill plays an even more significant part in the regional results. Often the team who can limit the damage to their car the most successfully emerges victorious. In the NRC4 class, meanwhile, José de Gouveia, Kusi van der Merwe and Tiens Hubert, ably assisted by co-drivers Armand Dutoy, Koen van Zyl and Marie van der Walt, have all managed to score points. Much like the NRC2 cars, the NRC4s are a mixed engine displacement group, with the cars all boasting four-wheel drive and not conforming to the S2000 regulations as their only uniting factors. For rally fans, this class is a particularly thrilling one, as older model Subarus are popular amongst the teams. The abundance of power and grip available to the NRC4 cars also means they can mix it up with the favourites in the S2000 class. It's not uncommon to see one of the NRC4 cars going head-to-head with an S2000 in a super special stage. Tiens Hubert's storming drive in his Toyota Auris at the Sasol Rally owed a lot to the skills of his co-driver Marie van der Walt. As S1600 co-driver Pierre Aris explains, there's a lot more to navigating than just calling the notes.
I think a navigator is, you have to have good organizational skills, because effectively you're an office manager. You know, you need to create a calm environment inside of the car. It's not just about calling the notes. It's about managing time, managing the driver, and managing the stage as you're navigating through the stage. You know, I've been doing this for so long, and you know, I think it's an art that you sort of learn over time to be able to navigate just by feeling what the car's doing. You've got to have good basic notes, but if you look up too often, you're going to get lost on the notes, because the car's traveling quite quickly, so you need to be keeping an eye on what's happening on the book. So occasionally I'll look up just to acknowledge if there's a tricky instruction coming that I can see in the book. I'll just glance up at the road quickly to make sure that the driver's on the right track. Generally speaking, if you're running a little bit slower or a little bit ahead on the notes, the driver will tell you. But you know, other than that, it's all about the feeling, what the car's doing, and basically you're going by, you know, sensation more than what you're seeing on the road. I think the level of co-drivers in the country is pretty good at the moment. You know, the entries are down, so there isn't an abundance of seats available. But those that are coming through are definitely, you know, looking very promising. So I think we're on par with any other national championship, both on the continent, and I would even risk saying that I think we're on par with, you know, the rest of the world in terms of national championships.
It's in the Dunlop service zone where one sees the war of attrition which is rallying. For the professional teams, there's a frantic buzz of activity. Virtually no issue is too big to be solved in the limited time available. But for the regional teams, the knocks add up, and the sad sight of a regional car parked up on a trailer is a common one. These drivers and co-drivers fund most of the expenses out of their own pockets for the pure joy of taking part in a rally. They are the unsung heroes of the sport. It's only fitting, then, that their friends and families cheer loudest for them when they take to the stages. Dunlop has decades of history in motorsport, and specifically on the rallying scene. They provide highly specialized tires for the series and have a full-time on-site service truck for tire fitment at each rally.
Dunlop have recently got quite involved in a lot of motorsport, local motorsport. It's not only in rallying, we're quite involved in circuit racing as well, with semi-slicks, and this year also with full slicks. And Dunlop have actually been quite active in rallying now for a number of years. There's two main categories in national rallying. You get the top category, which is S2000, and you get a slightly lower category, which is an S1600. The S2000 uses a bigger tyre, 205 65 15, and the Super 1600s use a slightly smaller tyre, 185, 65, 50. So every single competitor has to use the Dunlop tyre, and as part of that deal, we have a complimentary tyre service that we do for all the competitors. It's a free of charge service, obviously because it's part of the deal, and we change tyres throughout the whole weekend.
While the regional cars are firm favourites amongst local crowds, the most exciting results come from the S1600 class, where 8 cars are capable of producing podium performances. Guy Botterill has claimed 3 victories in a row, but the chasing pack is not far off his pace, with the likes of Richard Leake and Ashley Haig-Smith in particular showing that they have the speed to peg Botterill back. The question for the remainder of the South African National Rally Championship Series is, can they match Botterill's consistency?
We've got 3 wins in a row, and that's fantastic for us, and it's always, we just try and keep it going, and just make sure the main thing is mechanical failure. We don't break down and just score as many points as we can, and hopefully we can win the championship. But the championship's still a long way to go. There's still lots more rounds to go, so rally is a strange thing, so it's never over until the last event. So we just make sure we keep our head down and do the job we need to do.
The season has undoubtedly started perfectly for Botterill, but the ATS Ford Fiesta of Richard Leake is making inroads into Botterill's dominance. Leake has consistently matched or bettered Botterill for pace during sections of each rally, but momentary lapses of concentration and bad luck have cost him dearly in the overall reckoning.
Basically came over the flying finish, over the jump. As we landed, the car just stepped a bit, hit the outside bank, started controlling it, hit another bump, and then it veered us off to the right. Went into the bushes. There was just a slight water drainage hill that just started flipping the car and then rolled down the hill.
Another car struggling for consistency thus far is the Shield Car Care Volkswagen Polo of George Smallberger and Chris Brand. A 7th in the Sasol Rally is the only fruit of their labours to date, but if they can avoid the mechanical gremlins which put them out of the Goldfields and Secunda rallies, they can still mount a challenge in the rest of the season. Arcia Potgieter and Tommy du Toit had a tough start to the season with a DNF at Goldfields, but after a solid Sasol rally, their first stage win and a spectacular second place in their home rally in Secunda, they could be set to mount a charge for more podium positions in the remaining rallies. The Heinz Sport Volkswagen, piloted by Andrew Hein with Lloyd Brady alongside him, is the dark horse of the season thus far. His DNF at the start of the season seemed to shake him up, and his consistent style has seen him pick up his first stage win at Secunda and 2 third-place finishes. These are results he'll want to build on as the season progresses. One of the most readily recognizable cars in the S1600 field is the Manitou VW of Paulus Franken and Pierre Aris. Franken is currently in 2nd in the championship, having clocked up 3 rally finishes, a feat only matched by the 2 Toyota Gazoo racing vehicles and S1600 leader Guy Botterill. The pair are hoping to have a new engine for the second half of the season and could see this giving them what they need to boost performance and help them hold onto their current position. Chris Kutzer and Robbie Kutsia took ownership of the brand new Electro Thread Toyota Etios in the build-up to the Secunda Rally. After a DNF at Goldfields, 2 5th-place stage finishes in the Sasol Rally, they were suddenly there in the mix with 3 third-place stage finishes at Secunda. They will surely be pushing for a podium finish come the Volkswagen Rally. One of the biggest names in South African rallying, Ashley Haig-Smith's frustrating start to the year has him chomping at the bit. His stage times have been fast, but he's made a few crucial errors, perhaps pushing too hard with the weight of the knowledge that he is a serious challenger to Guy Botterill's dominance, weighing heavily on his shoulders. With a recent regional win behind him and some significant changes to his car, he and Niall Burns will be hoping for better luck in the upcoming events. The first rally of the 2016 season was the Goldfields Rally in the Free State, and defending National Rally champions Guy Botterill and Simon Vasey Lyle got off to a winning start in their Yatu Tools Toyota Etios. Richard Leake and Henry Kierner in the ATS Ford Fiesta chased Botterill all the way to the final stage, eventually falling just 36 seconds short of the Toyota. Closing out the podium was the ever-consistent Paulus Franken and Pierre Aris in their Manitou Volkswagen Polo. Behind the podium finishers, the rest of the S1600 field weren't so lucky in Goldfields. DNFs marked the leaderboard as Asia Potgieter, Andrew Hein, Ashley Haigsmith and George Smallberger were all forced out of the reckoning. With the series moving on to Sabi for the Sasol Rally, Botterill's competitors fancied their chances. Botterill was the first two-wheel drive car on the rugged gravel roads, and the hope was he would have to drive more conservatively to save his car from excessive damage. Botterill's smooth style allowed him to spare the car without losing time on his rivals, however, and he held a 1-minute lead over Richard Leake heading into the penultimate stage. With stages running out for Leake to challenge Botterill's lead, he pushed too hard and crashed spectacularly, approaching the flying finish. Leake's crash promoted Paulus Franken to second and Andrew Hein to third behind the dominant Botterill. For Rally 3, the series moved on to the Mpumalanga town of Secunda. With many of the routes being custom cut through the grasslands, local knowledge would count for little. But that didn't stop Asia Potgieter and Tommy du Toit in their Lake Umuzi Volkswagen Polo from storming through the rally. Despite their fine drive, they couldn't match the sheer pace of Guy Botterill and Simon Dvacy-Lyle. And to be fair, they did also capitalise on more bad luck for Richard Leake, who had to withdraw when his left front wheel sheared from the car on stage 7.
After a right-hander, our left wheel just came off. I think all the five studs broke off. I'm not sure how, we didn't hit anything, so I don't know why.
A consistent drive from Andrew Hein and Lloyd Brady in the Hein Sport VW Polo brought them home in third. After 3 rallies, Guy Botterill leads the championship with a perfect 48 points from Paulus Franken and Asia Potgieter. With 3 of the 2016 7 rallies now behind us, the series moves on to the Volkswagen Rally in Port Elizabeth on the 15th and 16th of July, after which it hurtles to completion with a rally in Gauteng in August, the Toyota Cape Rally in September, and concludes with the series decider in November. Will Poulter and Botterill remain in their winning ways, or will there be a twist in the National Rally Championship tale? Stay tuned to find out.